Today is going to be a big one. I'm doing a full rewire of the campervan today, taking out all them horrible connectors, dodgy wiring, previously done by myself. So this is what I'm starting with. I've pulled all the kitchen unit out. I can now get to all the wires to rip all the old things out, put in a brand new system, because the way it was set up before, I was having no end of problems, and ultimately, this is our van fire start. And if you're building a campervan or planning to build a campervan, I'm going to give a full overview of how everything fits together when wiring up a van. And that is the last wire to come off to start the build. And the first thing I needed to do was design the layout of exactly where we're putting all the electrics, leisure battery, diesel heater. It's all got to fit in your van and work around you when you're in the van as well. So the first thing I'm going to delve into today is the leisure batteries. And in our VW Campervan, we've got it under our front seat. But this could be under your passenger seat, it could be in your quarter panel, behind your lockers. It's all suited to where you want these electrics, but for me, it suited us best under the front seat. It was a bit of a void of a space, and that's where we dumped ours. Your leisure batteries can be a bit of a minefield. The reason we use leisure batteries and not the normal batteries what's on your any car or van, them batteries are designed for giving a big oomph of energy to start your starter motors. Whereas these batteries give a nice trickle to all your appliances in your van, your fridge, and it doesn't need that big oomph when you're powering them kind of appliances. It needs to be a Pacific leisure battery. You can recharge the cycles on these and keep on using them, and they're not going to die every 2 minutes like as if you was using any type of van or car battery what's connected to them. So you've got to go with a leisure battery to start off with, and then this is where it becomes a bit more of a minefield. Because there is 3 different types of batteries when you're coming into this. You've got your cheaper, budgeted ones, you've got your lead acid batteries. These batteries, you tend to get 200 to 500 charges before you need to replace them. You need ventilation on them, and occasionally these batteries will need topping up. And you certainly can't tip these batteries upside down because they're going to leak. So there you'll already need a budget, and you can pick these up from £80 onwards. Your next battery up is your AGMs. Your AGMs are like the middle out kind of ground on these batteries. These batteries don't need ventilation. You can tip these batteries upside down. They take a lot more vibration when you're driving down the road. And I think they're one of the best suited batteries for van life. You can get a lot more charges out of these. You can get 500 plus charges out of the AGMs. Then you come on to the lithium ion batteries. So if you're picking up a lithium ion battery, you're going to be £300, £400, £500 for these lithium ions, but they are the best type of batteries. They've got the longest life on them. You can do way more charges than any other battery, but you are going to have to change a few other bits on your van as well, because they're charged differently. Where the other two, you can use your normal bits, what you're getting from any caravan and campervan shop. Lithium ion's slightly different, so I would recommend the AGM battery, and that's exactly what we've upgraded to on this van today. So that's all secure, and now I'm going to delve into the 3 types of chargers what you can have to keep these topped up. You've got your DC to DC, which is your inline charger from your 12 volt battery, and that'll come through and keep your leisure battery topped up while you're driving. You've got your solar panel, what will trickle in a charge, obviously on a sunny day. And then you've got your other charger. When you're on mains hookup, you can have an onboard charger to keep your leisure battery topped up. So you've got 3 methods to keep it charged there, so you should never see a flat battery unless you've got an element go wrong with one of your chargers. And your DC to DC charger is just fed from your positive terminal on your 12 volt battery. It's fused and then it comes through a relay before finally it comes through the bulkhead of your van. I've fed that underneath my carpets on my passenger and driver's side footwells, and then that comes underneath and goes straight to my battery. So I'll show you where that cable is now. And then when you've got it this end, I'm just popping it straight onto the positive terminal of the battery. It's proper battery cable, what I fed all the way through as well, just to make sure you've got that right ampage through the cable. So now I've got a positive on there, but I've got no earth to the battery, so that's going to do absolutely nothing until we get an earth to the van. And one of the biggest issues I had with this van is the earth. Coming up to the battery, and it was a really weak earth I had. So I've now put it to the side panel, I've cleaned the area up first, put the earth to it there, and I'm just going to connect it to the negative side of the battery, but I'm going to have to do something with that there. and put a spade connector on it. So now I've got my copper ring. It's just a case of connecting these two together. There's two methods of doing this. You can solder it or use some crimps. I'm just going to put my heat shrink wrap first over my cable, and that just keeps it a nice clean joint when you put it over. There's no wires what are coming out. It just keeps everything tidy. And that's the DC to DC charger all connected up, and that'll be charging the leisure battery up every time I go out in the van. And the next way to charge a battery up is through a solar panel. So we've got just your slimline version, what goes on the top of the pop top. The reason we've gone for this slimline version is because of the weight on it as well. So you can get your bigger ones, your more solid ones, and to be fair, they're probably the better ones over these slimline ones, but it does the job for us. So it just sticks on top of your pop top. Ideally, you want to be getting something at least 200 watts to power into your battery, and then it just feeds through our pop top, and the wires come back through to where the battery is connected now. So the wires for the solar panel are fed straight down the B-pillar post here, behind the trims, and it comes down to the solar panel control box here. So it's a simple case of putting your two positive and negative where your solar panel is, and then that'll just come out to your battery and then keep your battery charged up at all times. So that's what I'm going to do next, connect that one up there. So now that's on, we've got the DC to DC charger working and the solar panel charging the battery as well. Solar panel's on, and that's showing the battery at 12.3 volts with a charge going into it at all times when the sun's out. And finally, the third way to charge up your leisure battery is getting an onboard charger. So I've gone for the Victron, and this is a 15 amp onboard charger, so when you're hooked up to your electric hookup, this will come on and keep your battery charged up, so you can use your electrics all night and have no problems. So it is quite a small compact unit, and this one's actually Bluetooth, so you can put it on your phone and you can see exactly where your battery's up to on your phone if you need to put more charge in it, and this will automatically up and lower your charge to how much your battery needs at the time. So let's get this one installed. So I've decided where I'm going to put the charger. I'm just going to connect the wires straight into the charger, and that'll go to the leisure battery. But if you're wondering what type of wires you need, it's all to do with the ampage and how big the ampage of the unit is, how big your amp is in the actual unit. So this one's 20 amp. So I need to make sure my wire is going to be bigger than 20 amp. If it's not, this is where you can get electrical fires. So if I was to have a 20 amp unit and only have wires what was only rated to 15 amp, what's going to happen there is the wires are going to burn first before the fuse kicks in, because the ampage of the wire isn't big enough to feed the actual unit it's doing it to. So these wires are rated to 25 amp. That's got a 20 amp fuse in it, so if anything goes wrong, the amp on the actual unit is going to go before the wires start burning or any issues like that. So I'm just going to pop them in now. And again, everyone knows this, and I always do it every time I tighten electrics up. I give them the old pull check, make sure they're not pulling back out, and you've got a good connection. Solid. So I've just got the terminal connectors on as well now, but I do like to put a bit of solder in the end, and then you know you've got a really solid connection for your terminals to go onto. So now I've got that checked up, I'm just giving it a quick test with a multimeter, which is showing 14.35 volts, which means I'm getting full charge through the battery charger into that battery. So hopefully we won't have any more problems moving forward with this. So now I know the battery's going to keep charge, it's my output. So the first one I've got is my control panel up here in my kitchen. This one's going to feed off my lights, my USBs, my water pump. So I'm going to make sure I've got a positive and negative coming into the control panel, and then I can just feed off the kitchen lights, the water and the main lights will feed straight up to the control panel, which will give you on and off. This specific one will give you your voltage as well, what your battery is at. You've got a cigarette lighter on this one and your USB cables as well. So next stage I'm going to connect this to the battery and then feed it back to the control panel as well. So I've now got the cables from my control panel. I've got the right cable, what's rated for the fuse inside, which is 15 amp. This cable's rated to 25 amp, so I'm going to feed this straight into my battery now. It's got an inline fuse as well, which is really important when you're doing any of these electrical works. Again, that's just going to look after your wire and any of your appliances as well. So at the back of the control panel, I've got everything connected. You've got an earth block just at the bottom, and then your control panel where all your lives feed in, and then that's where it's done on your switches. Right guys, the last one I'm putting together now is I've just got a little light what's going to go inside the cupboard, because if anyone's got any of these camper vans, they'll know how dark it can be looking in these cupboards, trying to get into the bottom bit. Cheap light, £9. I'm just going to plumb this one in now, so all I'm going to do is double-sided tape on the back of it, stick it just above everything, and then I'm just going to connect my wires straight into my control panel. That is going to be a bit of a game changer. Because you're always struggling, aren't you? Looking for things in there. I mean, I know it's just a light, but... So I'm just going to chuck the kitchen all back together now. Hopefully this will give you a few good ideas, but I will show you the full setup when I put everything back together now. I'm now at the stage where I've fed all my cables to my appliances. It's at the control box, and then that's being fed out to my lights, my fridge, everything else what goes with a van. I'm just at the stage now where I want to keep the cables tidy when it's going from the battery into my panels, and then from my panels back to my control panel. And this works perfectly. So it's conduit, it's just a basic cable tidy. You open it up, pop your cables in there, and then it gives a really nice finish. It keeps them tidy, it keeps them safe, and it stops you snagging them. It's a bit of protection from them as well, so if you was to put some on top of your cables, you know you're not going to damage them. One other little tip, if you are doing this kind of setup, you're only going to have one battery on this van. And if you do have any serious problems with it and it goes dead for whatever reason, I found a little bit of a hack. So with the jackery, you can plug into your cigarette lighter in there. I'm going to put some crocodile clips on the end of these so I can connect it to the battery and it'll power the van all night. And if you're on electric hookup as well, you can then power the jackery through the electric hookup and continue to use your battery through your jackery. Real good tip, that one, if you do ever get stuck. So I've finally got everything back together. I'm just going to go through all my appliances, make sure everything's working. Lights there. I've got a spare one on my control panel. Water's working. I've got my light now in my cupboard, which is going to be really handy when you're trying to get things out of there. We've got some kitchen lights on here just to make it easier for cooking. Dieselator, that's wired straight to the battery and not through the control panel. That's working absolutely fine. The fridge, I've got a bit of a switchy on the back, just so it's not off the mains, but I've got my on and off switch there. That's all working, that's sorted that. But I think just having everything underneath the seat, where I've got it now, is going to make a massive difference, easy to access. Any problems in the future, it's future-proofed. I know all the cables are safe, the conduit just makes things even safer, knowing I can't trap any wires. I know I ain't gone into the electric hookup, but they do come in a kit form with your fuse box there, and it's just a case of just bringing your plugs in as you would any electrics and just popping them in as well. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next week.